There was a time when BMW cars had only one ugly part in their design. Today, from bumper to bumper, BMW cars are getting uglier and uglier. No one expected that in 20 years' time will become modern classic that will be desirable and beautiful. Dear viewers, grab some snacks and drinks and welcome to the magical BMW E65. When E65 was introduced, many people complained that it was ugly and could not compete with gorgeous E38. I would love to hear their opinion on refrigerator with kidney grills that is also known as 2025 BMW 7 Series. In 2001, with the new, not attractive body and new iDrive system that no one understood, hate came from everywhere for E65. And somehow, one of the best looking BMW 7 Series E38 with simple and beautiful dashboard had fewer sales than the new E65. In total, BMW sold 340,000 E38s and 344,000 E65s, and it was the record for a BMW 7 Series. Another personal shock for me is that today E65 facelift and the pre-facelift version actually look nice and very appealing and desirable by me and my soul. Also, my horniness for these cars is increasing every day. Back of the E65 pre-facelift version reminds me of every 50 Cent video. It has big, not very juicy but big butt with wide hips. This butt was so popular that it made into the GTA 4. Compared to E38, it looked that it was born in the bakery, not in the BMW factory. Chubby and bubbly massive car was made specifically for American market. Later models of BMW were more focused on needs of American consumers. Many criticized E65 and treated it like ugly girl on the prom night. But the massiveness of this car reminded everybody of good old days of W140, and many Mercedes clients switched from the small W220 into the massive E65s. In black color with the right rims, the 7 Series looked intimidating. It looked like a perfect car for people who commit financial fraud. The white collar crime, the Russian mobsters, drug dealers that operate not in the grams but in the metric tons. Even if you sold used condoms and your business was good, you could buy one of those cars and feel like you are the most dangerous person on earth. This is the power of this car, and the size of the vehicle was important. Especially in the traffic, this car screams money and danger. New E65 had many wonderful features. It was the first car that had soft closed doors and illumination in the door handles. And 10 years before that, W140 already had the soft closed doors, but for BMW it was brand new innovation. E65 was the first BMW that used shark fin antenna. Also, it was one of the first luxury cars that had night vision, and Mercedes had it only after the 5 years in their new W221. Also, E65 had new key. BMW decided not to use the conventional keys. This was the smartest key in BMW history. It stored mileage of the car, service time, VIN number. Also, it stored all the information about the car. All the problems that appeared on your dashboard was stored in the key. Mechanics just took the key and put it in the system and they saw everything. So they didn't. An annoying interrogation in every service of every owner just stopped because they had everything and they knew what to do. Also, it was one of the first cars that had knee airbags. And finally, BMW 65 came with the cooling seats. The body structure of the car was much more tougher than E38. It handled much better than E38 and was faster in the corners. Also in the snow the car was more grippier. At every angle car was lighter, faster and had much more grip in the corners. Interior was so radical that it was very difficult for true BMW lovers to adopt the new luxury approach. And this time it was truly luxurious approach. The E38 interior interior was a little bit conventional and not for everybody, but E65, they really spent all the money in the world to impress you. In my opinion, it felt bigger and more luxurious and more cozy than the W220 Mercedes interior. It felt like BMW asked American what is the luxury German car should look like, and he made this interior, and he did a nice job. New iDrive system was also very shocking. iDrive in 2002 was like a TikTok skibidi-dop-dop toilet video for boomers today. No logic in it, and the first iDrive was very complicated. As complicated as many different personalities of my beloved wife that I love very much and all her personalities, but it's difficult to catch up sometimes with her. To control heater, you must understand the iDrive system. To adjust shock absorbers, you also need the iDrive system. You need to dedicate a few hours of your life to understand the system. It was difficult to do something by using intuition. You must know where all the stuff are, and that was very annoying. First iDrive system was developed by Microsoft, and you can feel their mistakes, but it was new technology that nobody had, and they destroyed everybody with. And it wasn't interesting, but they make a huge leap forward that no one did before. Armrest was long and very comfortable. CD changer was right in the passenger side of the central console, and that's the perfect place for the CD changer. I have no idea why other manufacturers didn't put CD changer right there, and because it's convenient to use. Steering wheel had the most complicated gear changer levers in the world. 4 buttons in total were connected to the transmission. If you wanted to go downshift, you pressed buttons on the steering wheel. If you wanted to go gear up, you pressed buttons behind the steering wheel. And this technology was as pointless as sending Israel trillions of money for their best actor performance. If you drove this car very aggressive, passionate, flooring it, driving it through the corners really fast, changing all the gears manually, you would feel same. It would be for you as complicated as having wonderful sex with your spouse and you reach out for just bottle of water, little sip really fast, and out of nowhere your wife starts juggling with the bottle of water and the cup and alarm clock at the same time. She explains you the housing bubble of 2008 while you're still doing the deed. This was very confusing. On one side you enjoyed the process, but on the other side you just confused and don't know what to do next. This is how it felt like to change gears manually while driving it very fast through the corners. I talked to many E65 owners and they said the first few months felt like this. Interior had millions of buttons everywhere. Somewhere were hidden and some were just laid all over the car. Nevertheless, you can sense the Rolls-Royce in this interior. It had the best sound isolation and you felt the weight of the car. There was this British luxury in the car. It had second generation voice command that still didn't work. Also, it was the first car with the active drive system, and the active drive system was actually working very good and clients loved the system. Also, it was the first BMW with the e-handbrake that worked really nice. Space at the front and space at the back was huge. Interior felt spacious, you didn't feel cramped at all, but at the same time you felt cocooned in the luxury, and that's a very rare feeling. Compared to today's cars, if you compare this interior to today's interior, this interior is just golden. Real thick leather, wonderful smell of 2000s wells. I really do respect this interior, and I'm very sure that you'll enjoy this interior also. E65 had air suspension that was very nice and optional, and some say that it was more reliable than W220's Mercedes air suspension. I do not have actual numbers, so let me know in the comments if this information is true or not. Ride of E65 was silky smooth with or without air suspension, that I know for sure. E65 had 7 petrol engines. The first 2 engines were 3-liter straight 6 naturally aspirated. Both of them are very reliable and easy to source parts and easy to maintain. But with these engines, car felt slow because they made barely like 280 brake horsepower, 270, and that's not enough for this car. Also, E65 had 3 V8s, 4-liter V8, 4.4-liter V8, and my personal favorite one, the 4.8-liter V8. The best one is the 4.8-liter V8 that was in the facelift versions. It developed 362 brake horsepower and 490 Nm of torque. It's the best engine because it is the most powerful. Also, many say that it has the most reliable engine chain. And personally, this is my favorite engine because of displacement and the performance that this engine delivers. With this wonderful V8, 0 to 100 will happen under the 6 seconds. Also, E65 had 6-liter V12 naturally aspirated that developed 439 brake horsepower and 600 Nm of torque. And the last and the most powerful engine was offered was from the Alpina 4.4-liter V8 with the supercharger. It developed 493 brake horsepower and 600 Nm of torque. 0 to 100 will happen under 5 seconds. All the engines had the same problems just because they were old. Rubber components must be changed, not because they are bad quality, but just because it's time to change them. Do not forget that these engines are more than 20 years old. If you buy the well taken care of V8 with full service history, it will last you a long time and you will spend a lot of money on just maintaining it properly. When you buy it, just check everything, check every paper, every receipt. Do not buy those engines, those cars with sketchy service history. Just avoid them because you will spend much more on the car than you're intended to. After buying this wonderful vehicle, you must clean radiators every 60,000 kilometers. Keep your eye on the cooling because it will leak, so just change all the dry parts in it. Also keep your eye on the water pump because it will fail. Also you need to change oil transmission. Also you need to change oil in the transmission every 60,000 kilometers and avoid rapid starts. Just drive it peacefully. Normally you can floor it, but not from the start because car is heavy and transmission doesn't like it. And of course you will have problems with the hydraulics of the trunk. Electrical problems will occur just because the car is more than 20 years old. Nothing really bad will happen, but like window switches, lights and stuff like that. Small issues that will need your attention. Many say that ZF 6-speed transmission was indestructible if it was taken care of and the car was driven normally. In 2005, BMW made this wonderful and beautiful facelift that kept up with the brand new W221. Facelift version looked more desirable and more delicate than the massive and humongous E65 pre-facelift. It didn't have these huge proportions, everything was very balanced and nice to look at. In front became nicer, back of the car became just perfect. Now this huge butt looked like a juicy sporty butt, not just fat with wide hips. And everybody turned around to look at it directly with hungry eyes. It was biggest facelift in the BMW history and it worked. Especially today when the new BMW 7 Series look like a very dried out dog poop, E65 is very desirable car. It is a true heavy luxury that you can afford. If you buy the right one from the right person that was loved and taken care of, you will enjoy every second driving it. I'm very confident that every viewer that watches this video wants at least drive this car. Maybe some of you want to buy it. If you buy this car, I guarantee you that when you will drive it, it will deliver luxury in your life. It has smooth ride, it will deliver you the feeling of fulfillment that will heal you from the toxic Latina mommy that violated your soul, or maybe toxic Latina other girlfriend that really didn't end up being such a nice person. It will cure you from alcoholism, from nicotine addiction, from any addiction in the world. And you will love this car. I recommend buying this car with proper procedures before doing it. Price for good ones are still affordable and it will do everything that true German sedan must do to you without any hassle. Also, I believe that this car is much better than the F-Series BMW. I do recommend buying it with caution and then enjoy it every day. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know in the video what do you think about the E65 and about my video. Take care and bye bye.